See that title down there? Assuming I stuck to my plan for this video, see the quotation marks around affordable? Please bear that in mind. So this bike retails for just shy of 8,000 New Zealand dollars, which makes it kind of hard to call it anything other than just expensive. But when you compare it to a market of e-bikes that cost as much as a very not bad car, price tag's so ludicrous that it injures my eyes to look at them. Well, yeah, it's not really that bad of a deal. This is the Scott Genius E-Ride 930 from 2020, and it's my dad's bike. I stole it a few weeks back to go do some filming in Rotorua, and after we were done I decided to take for a quick lap up the hill, because why not, I was all the way over there. After going an extremely relaxing 32 kilometers per hour up the climbing trail and almost binning it in every corner, I was treated to a descent that kind of surprised me. It was actually a lot of fun. This isn't the first time I've ridden this bike on a proper trail, but it's the first time I really got it set up properly before going out, and which makes a massive difference with the extra weight of the bike. It's really fun, despite the fact that I think RockShox might have forgot to put oil in the lowers and just whack some glue in there instead. I always go on about the fact that I like playful bikes, not super stable bikes. That's why I downsized on the Canyon and upsized on the amount of time I spend trying to manual down the driveway. But this bike isn't playful at all. Not at all compared to that, but it's not boring. In fact, it can actually jump quite well, and once you adjust your riding style to fit this kind of bike, it actually, yeah, it comes alive. You also get to experience peak stability in the form of absolute pure heft. This thing rolls through roots so hard it puts them back underground. Like, you're playing whack-a-mole. I can't imagine how good it would be if it had a fork rather than a bloody spoon. I'm not reviewing this bike specifically. I'm just using this as an example of sort of entry-level spec e-bikes. So keep that in mind. Obviously, the main benefit is you can just do so much riding. Like, I just ride everywhere with a stupid ass smile on my face because it feels like cheating, but like in a good way. Sorry for the sweaty face. I'm out here at Summerhill doing some laps on the e-bike. It's like 1,000,000 degrees. There's so many bugs. You got to keep every hole firmly clamped shut, otherwise you're going to get bugs in your eyes and mouth. And I'm so glad I'm on the e-bike. So glad. I should probably talk about the motor thing. The one on this bike is the Bosch CX Performance Line Gen 4 with a 500 watt hour battery, 70 something Newton meters of torque. I'll put the specs on the screen because I can't remember them off the top of my head. It goes fast, 32 kilometers per hour fast for the New Zealand version. Once you get past 32 kilometers per hour, your legs need to take over, but all I've been doing for the last few hours is flailing around in circles, so they're primed and ready to go. So that's not really a problem. It is pedal assist. I'm sure most of you realize that, but working in a bike shop, the amount of people that come in looking for one with a throttle, it's like, you're looking for a scooter or a motorbike. You don't need a throttle. And especially on the Bosch ones, because the assist is applied very smoothly, so it feels very natural. Some of the cheaper ones can be a bit jerky, and I can kind of understand it in that case, but I don't think I'd ever want a throttle on this. It's fine how it is. And I guess you'd eventually get used to the very not quiet sounds of descending. It does kind of bother me a bit. It's pretty noisy, but you know. It's spicy. When you're in a park that doesn't have a chairlift or a shuttle or something like that, you really just don't get to experience nearly as much on a human-powered bike. Especially when it comes to trails that are far away and are basically restricted because of fitness or a lack of fitness. You just get to experience all the best trail conditions. You know, the freshest dirt, the stuff that doesn't get ridden as much. And obviously I know there's arguments for both sides, and as much as I'm reading about e-bikes today, I'm not going to be selling mine to buy an e-bike anytime soon. I'd love to have both, but I heard it's like really hard to ride if you sell both kidneys, so that's off the cards for now. I always said that I'd need a really high spec e-bike to actually enjoy it, and that my argument was that because the bike is so much more heavy, you kind of need higher end suspension to be able to tune it to get the most out of it, get the most lively feel out of it. You probably need stiffer wheels to handle the cornering force. You need a better drivetrain, I guess, to handle more force going through. But I don't know. I realize now that that is more to get it to be a normal bike. But if you look at them as just completely different beasts, like not even, they're under the same umbrella of a bike, but they're not ever going to be the same, then you can get so much more fun out of a lower spec one than I thought. You just have to ride like you're riding a lower spec bike. And they still descend better than the top end normal bikes we had like 10 years ago, modern geometry and all that sort of stuff. I have mentioned that the fork is terrible, and it is terrible, but I think it's a quality control issue from RockShox. Like, I genuinely think they might have underfilled it with oil, so I'll send it away for a service and see if that fixes it. Coming back to this build specifically, the wheels are definitely the letdown. I don't really have any good things to say about Scott's Syncross alloy rims. The ones on my Scott not E Genius were only briefly circle. So yeah, when they're on a big bike like this, I'm sure these are a slightly stronger version, but they just flex quite a lot. When you hit a corner hard, you kind of lose a lot of your your momentum in just lateral flex. I don't know. I think a really burly carbon rim would actually be super good on an e-bike. Like, I think that's actually the way to go, just to get pop out of the corners and stuff like that. Once again though, that's just me trying to compare it to a normal bike. The difference is no more evident than when you try ride with someone on an e-bike when you're on a regular old steam-powered bike. Apart from latching onto their shirt and getting a toe up the hill, there's pretty much no chance you're ending the day with the same level of dehydration and spite. It's just not possible. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 10 years, the argument for having anything other than e-bike gets harder and harder, and you're seeing the new ones from Transition and other brands, and they're trying to get them really close. And they're getting fairly close. Like, it's actually pretty impressive. Especially, I quite like the modular idea of the Transition, where you can take the battery out and just ride it like a normal bike that's only slightly heavier than, you know, a normal Transition Spire or something like that. And when I think about a future that is e-bike dominated, I don't think it's really a bad thing. I mean, if it's bringing more people to the sport that might not be able to ride a bike normally anyway, more money to the trail networks, more people to maintain the trail networks, more brutal, hilarious comments on Pinkbike. Like, it really can't be a bad thing. Anyway, this video was kind of just a random ramble because this bike shocked me. It really did. It was a lot better than I expected, and I wanted to talk about it. But I still really want to ride a high-end e-bike, so I think that would be quite fun. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. It does really help us out. Now I think we're about to pass 3,000 subscribers, which is super exciting. So thank you all so much for the support. It's going to be a busy year. We've got a lot planned. So we'll see you next time.